Hi everyone, I'm Jayan and I'm currently at my last week as a PR and marketing intern at the Borgen Project. In this video, I will be talking about global poverty and the operations of the Borgen Project as an organization. I have learned a lot and definitely had a lot of achievements. Very briefly, I will be talking about the current situation in poverty and poverty reduction techniques. Then I will be giving some information about the Borgen Project, and finally, I will talk about volunteer work and share my experiences. Extreme poverty is defined as a lack of access to water, shelter, food, as well as proper education and healthcare. The internationally accepted poverty line is $1.9 per day. However, I should mention that each country also has a national poverty line adjusted accordingly. Unfortunately, the situation is not so bright right now. Roughly 8% of the world's population live in extreme poverty, and we are more than 80 million people behind the SDGs target. The current escape rate of poverty is around 0.8 people per second, which is half of the target. Some people believe that poverty helps with overpopulation, but in reality, it just makes it worse. Death rates from preventable causes and simple diseases are too high in those regions, and when combined with lack of access to proper education and healthcare system, it creates an urge to have more kids because they're not likely to survive. Poverty also causes terror and threatens security at national and international level. People are in desperation and they do not have access to proper education, which leads to social exclusion and creates vulnerability for terror attacks and extremist groups. Also, downsizing poverty helps reducing unemployment, and this is why foreign aid is regarded as aid investments. Let's take Indonesia into account. The country suffered a lot from poverty, and it is in a much better situation now compared to the past, even though poverty is still an issue in Indonesia. However, Indonesian Airlines made the biggest deal ever with Boeing in 2011, all thanks to foreign aid, which created a lot of job opportunities. One other thing that people believe is that they cannot do anything to help the poor. However, it's actually wrong. One of the easiest ways to help poverty reduction is through advocating for the cause and taking political action. You can call or email the Congress. Both are really easy but effective ways to contribute. Also, you can raise awareness and mobilize people for the cause. For instance, social media is a great way to do it. Personally, I have realized that social media isn't only to share experiences, but also a great way to raise awareness. People whom I had not spoken for years messaged me after seeing my post about poverty. One other way to help is also to donate for the cause. You can always divert the money you would have spent on a bad habit for donations. What people misunderstand about poverty and why they're against donations is that poverty is an issue that's impossible to solve. However, it's not true. In fact, the yearly amount needed to eradicate poverty within 20 years is less than 1% of the GNI of the world's richest countries. There has been progress on poverty reduction as well. People living in extreme poverty have been falling since 2000. And a much larger fraction of the world's population is not living in extreme poverty compared to the past, as you can observe from the figure. As can be seen from the map, that most of the regions in which the largest shares of the population are living in extreme poverty is actually in sub-Saharan Africa. It proves that poverty is not the fault of the individual, but it is a reflection of society, corruption, political instability, and historical background, as well as environmental conditions such as lack of resources, climate, and geographical disadvantage affects and cause poverty. The Borgen Project is a non-profit organization that fights global poverty through advocacy, aiming to make it a U.S. political attention. The organization operates through advocacy, mobilization of people, educating people, and issuing messages. There have been many bills that the Borgen Project helped pass the Congress. For instance, one of the biggest focus is on the international affairs budget, because the White House proposes to cut the foreign aid budget. The Borgen Project also supports Digital Gap Act, which aims to promote access to mobile or internet for 1.5 billion people in developing countries, ensuring innovation, economic growth, and reduced global poverty. Lack of access to technology increases the impacts of incidents. For instance, deaths due to Ebola may have been avoided if the countries had access to technology for communication and tracking patterns. All of the bills supported by the organization aim to create an equal opportunity for people living in poverty and to eradicate it as well as its consequences. If you're interested in working at a nonprofit, the Borgen Project is definitely a great place to start because there are many remote opportunities. Personally, I can say that my internship as a part of the PR and marketing team with the Borgen Project helped me get out of my comfort zone, develop many skills from creative writing to visual material creation. Currently, there are 6 remote internship opportunities, which are PR marketing, editor, human resources, political affairs, journalism, and writer internships. You can also find voluntary work on the website, which includes regional director, advocate, and guest contributor positions. These are also ways to help poverty alleviation. Overall, poverty is one of the biggest issues in the world, and we are all strong enough to contribute to its reduction.